CeCe Doing the Most with Hip Hop Weekly Radio. As you guys know, we love to find some new talent to put on the radio. And I got somebody that's very unique, that doesn't sound like everybody else that we be playing. And he is repping South Florida, but he was born in Columbia, so he got a little bit of that Atlantic heat, a little bit of that Atlantic flavor. Okay. And I am with no other than QuinceLu. How you doing? How you feeling?
Good. Out here, LA, chilling.
Yes. So we just got done playing your song Witness on Hip Hop Weekly Radio. I love it, and I hope everybody out there is loving it and giving support. And it's an underground gem. It's doing a lot of numbers. Your music overall has been doing very, very good. But for this song, Witness, tell us a little bit about this track and your motivation behind it.
So the song "Witness" actually is inspired by LA, by Cali, because the
You're in
first
LA right now.
yeah, exactly. So it's only right. It's only right. So if you listen to the song, it has like a very that bounce, that funk that the West Coast is known for. So I heard it and I was like, oh shoot, but I want to like give it some of my. I'm from Broward County, if you know, like Kodak, XX Tentacion. Like I wanted to give it a little bit of that Southern draw. So I put my own style to it, and it was just because I've been doing this for a long time independently. So to be in LA on like your own terms and like with no backing or anything, and just like I got the rental and everything myself, all this stuff, like everything by yourself. So I was just like, man, can I get a witness? Because I can't believe I made it this far.
Right.
Like, but at the same time, it's also kind of saying like, if you listen to it, I'm saying like riding in a Benz, thinking life ain't pretty. Cause it's like, it took all this, but it's like, I still don't sit here and be like, oh, it was easy. It's like, there's still more to do. Like it's not even done. Like I done been through so much, like, but I still got to do more. I'm not even close. So
Right. It's very motivational, and you definitely get a sense just listening to the lyrics that you got it out the mud and you're still grinding, you're still trying to hustle your way to where you see your success looking like.
yes, man.
Yeah, that's what's
All
up. So,
independent. We've been working. We've been rapping. I've been rapping for like, since I was like a freshman in college. So
what
I
college
never
you go to?
Florida State.
Ah, snap.
No nation. Yeah, I mean, we ain't been doing too good on the football side, but
It's
we'll be
okay.
back. We'll be back. Anyways, yeah. So I've been doing it for a while, but I was born in Colombia. I don't really have any family that's like involved with like the music industry. My parents were like very immigrant, from Colombia as well. I was born there, they were born there, pretty much grew up there. So I've never really had ties to like the music industry like that, and I don't really know like the industry like that. So I've always, when I started, I've just always felt like I've had to do like an uphill battle, because I've also never wanted to like give up my integrity. I've had like deal opportunities and stuff early on when I was like getting noticed, but I didn't want to. They wanted me to be like Pitbull or like whatever they thought Hispanic was like.
I was gonna ask
Rapper
you that.
was.
I was gonna ask you that because we had Fat Joe, we had Big Pun, and we've had people like Pitbull, and rightfully they've all held it down for the culture of hip hop. They all did it their way, and they've been able to walk away as legends in their own right. And I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you, since you just brought it up, like, do you look up to them as influences?
Yes, actually, when I was growing up, when I was like, I'm trying to remember when I first heard maybe my first rap song. I think the first one that I heard, my dad like, being immigrant, but he came here one time for like about a year or something. So he had a little bit of like American influence. So he was listening to Will Smith's album at the time, Big Willie Style. So that's probably like the first rap song that I heard, like get jiggy with it and all that. But and then like growing up in like South Florida, there's I would go with my parents, like moving around a lot. Like I'm small, like
Hmm.
super small, and so like there still isn't even like iPods yet, or if there was, I couldn't like I didn't have any or anything, so
Right.
it's still heavy on the radio. So it was like 99 jams, so you'd hear DJ Khaled on there just going in on the ones and twos, and then
That's crazy.
that big influence from Pitbull. So I actually respect Pitbull a lot. Like I'm not even knocking him because he's actually one of my biggest idols, believe it or not. Even though I'm more of a rapper, I
Mhm.
don't see myself in the pop lane as much, but I'm he's open. He was the first person to make me feel like, okay, you could be from South Florida and be like Hispanic and have like an accent and like just a different sound, and you could still rap, like you could still be
Right.
accepted. Then I found out about Big Pun and like Fat Joe, and I started seeing more of these artists like Cypress Hill from like the West Coast, like one of the Latinos that would like rap. And I was like, oh, okay, like then I studied it and I realized that like hip hop is actually stemmed from like Hispanic and African American, like
Yeah.
camaraderie, like just coming up together and kind of being like this is like the voice of the streets. So then it made me be like, okay, it's not like, because I was under the impression, because I was an immigrant, so I'm like if you want to rap, you either have to be black or you got to be Eminem. So
I was
like,
gonna say if we can let Eminem through customs,
yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I
gonna
said. You either
let
had to be black or you had to be Eminem. So I was like, I guess, and I'm like, I don't really fit in either of them. So for a
y'all.
while, I was kind of like, but as I did the research and I realized like, even like Fabulous, someone like Fabulous is like Dominican, so like
Right. You
different
still got
artists. And,
Afro Latinos. I mean,
yeah,
at the end of
so
the day, we
it's
all one big
there.
old happy family. That's how I always look at it.
Exactly.
We all, I mean, everybody got a little black in them. So
So
you gonna be fine. Don't you worry about it. But yeah, that's definitely interesting. I definitely wanted to ask you that. And as far as like you already talked about your earlier influences, is there anybody like maybe right now that you just look at and be like, dang, like I love how this artist moves, or I just love his content, I love his music, or you just
um,
envision maybe you can be as successful as another artist?
so to me, like my competition and where I really want to go in terms of like who set the bar high. So
Hmm.
I like Jay Z a lot,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say Jay Z. Jay Z to me, I influences me a lot on like the business sense and like being part of the culture and
Right.
really just like transcending just like rapping, but like also, and Nipsey like was another person that like really gave me that. So RP to him, but just being like a figurehead in the culture, not just being like this rap person and just raps. Like you want to influence people, you want to provide something, you want to give game. But like if I had to say the biggest artist that I mean is Drake, because I feel like he's been the rapper that's been able to like really cross genres a lot,
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I want to go in terms of like I was born in Colombia and I'm Hispanic. My parents only speak Spanish, but I grew up in South Florida,
hmm.
specifically Broward County. So it's just like so many influences of music. Like I couldn't tell you that I just grew up listening to just rap. I would listen
Right.
to Caribbean music. I'd listen to Hispanic music. I'd even listen to like house music. I'd listen to like everything. There's so much always going on. You're growing up with people that are like influenced by all this stuff. So
Hmm.
like in a way it's hard to be like, oh, I only want to make this type of music. Like even when I rap or make music, I'm big on being a rapper. I've never shied away from being like, some people are like, nah, I'm an artist, like, nah, I'm a rapper. Like that's the vibe that I want to push. But I am like worldly in music and I don't want to limit myself to just doing like, so I think Drake does a good way of like somehow still being able to like be considered a rapper, even though he kind of came into it more like R&B-ish,
He
being more
so
like,
did that first mixtape. I
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was more,
it was
it's more, but
definitely, yeah, a lot of singing on it. But like I say, you just never know. And if you are just creative and you can sound unique and you can keep evolving, I feel like that's gonna make you stand the test of time. If you're just gonna keep sounding the same over and over and over, every project sounds the
exactly that.
same, the same, the
It's
same.
just boring too. Why would you want to like make make the same thing? Like I like Young Thug. I don't know if you listen to him a lot, but like the way he uses his voice a lot. Like this is like the things I get most of like my inspiration from, like people that are willing to like push the boundary on like the sound. Because
Mhm.
it's like, why limit yourself to just one sound? You know, as a person, you do a lot of different things, right? So you should be able to like evoke a lot of different emotions and sounds with music, not just one thing.
Right. And maybe you can be, champagne poppy. You know what I'm saying? One day. That's what Drake call him, champagne poppy. I'll be like, Drake,
I'm Champagne
you
Migo.
are Canadian. Like, what?
He want to be Dominican so bad.
He wants to be.
He
Oh
he
God.
might as well just give him the Dominican part. He acting like it.
But since you already talking so much about how diverse, yo, as far as what you listen to, if me and you was to take a road trip, let's say, okay, because I'm in Detroit, but let's say we taking a road trip to back to Miami or South Florida, right? And I
Hmm.
give you the ox cord. What
Oh,
are we gonna be listening to while we on our road trip though?
we're maybe gonna start with some El Alfa.
What's that?
Oh, he's Dominican. It's like Dembao. It's like very like it's like just very energetic music. It almost sounds like Jersey music. It's almost like a hymn called, yeah, like Jersey music kind of. Like if I could explain it, it's kind of like Jersey music, but it's more, it has more, a lot of Latin music has a lot of African descent to it, you know. So it feels like that. It feels like it's like it just calls on your spirits and it makes you want to dance. Like that's how I say it. As soon as you hear it come on, and be like suave,
Yes.
and their flows be crazy. They be rapping like really, their flows are nasty. So I would say probably that if you really want to get the vibe, because then we go out to Wynwood or something, and people are dancing. They're not shy. Being from South Florida, you dance. You feel
Yes,
me?
I've been to Miami a couple of times, and that is the truth, y'all. If you are a wallflower, so especially if you're a woman, somebody gonna pull your arm and be like, you beautiful, mommy. Like,
Yeah,
let's dance a
no.
little bit, and you're
People
gonna
are
have
going
to.
down.
So I love Miami. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, anything else we gonna be listening to on this road trip? What
Yeah,
about
no. I
hip hop?
mean, listen to everything. I pretty much have free range. Like I like, it just depends on my mood. So like, if it was a road trip, I would say, okay, if it was the daytime and we're hitting the brunch, so yeah, we're definitely playing some El Alfa or some reggaeton, some, to bring the brunch vibes. Then once it starts settling in, everything starts settling in, nighttime's coming in, then maybe we start going towards like the rap and the twerking music, some Jersey mix. You feel me? There's a lot of Jersey mixes out here because out here,
Okay, yeah, you gonna put me
you're
on.
growing up with a lot of fast paced music. Here they like to from Broward, like they would even speed up the music and do it like at a faster pitch. So that's like a thing that also happens a lot. So definitely that by nighttime, and then after hours, you could either go to the strip club and hear some more booty music, or
Ooh,
you
okay.
go and you take the party to like the underground, and now it's like house, like so it's everything like
Okay, I
that's
like this. Yeah. Next time
that's
I come to Miami, maybe we can
oh
link
no,
up.
you gonna hang with us, we be
Cause
lit. You just
Detroit, we
not gonna
always have a
sleep,
strip
you're
club.
not gonna
I ain't
sleep.
scared of no booties and titties. I ain't scared of that. That doesn't bother me. We all got. I got the same thing, ma'am. That doesn't bother me. I know some women don't like.
Yeah, nah, it's lit. No, in South Florida, like the strip club is not really like taboo like that. Yeah, it's more like it's kind of like being in Atlanta, or I'm trying to think of other cities that like it's really big, but Atlanta stands out to me.
Well, you
In
keep
South
on
Florida,
beating me to the punch with these questions. I was gonna ask you about Atlanta because I know Miami and South Florida. You think of the bad mommies, you think of beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? But how are the ladies treating you in Atlanta?
uh, they're they're showing support. They're supportive.
They're very supportive.
Yeah, that's all I need. All your support.
And how is
But
that
nah, Atlanta's
though?
cool.
You said what?
I said Atlanta's cool. I love Atlanta actually. It's to me it's like it's kind of like a southern New York
Mm.
that's more So I think what I like about Atlanta is like it's the first time when I was younger too, when I first visited. It's
Mm-hmm.
the first city that I saw was like predominantly like black. So
Mm.
like
Yes, it is. It's a
it,
chocolate city.
yeah. So it was like, I mean, being from South Florida, it feels like minorities pretty much run most of South Florida. At least like if you're in like Miami, Broward, like as you head north, then it becomes a little more um rich suburban and whatever. But
Mhm.
it's fairly mixed. But then I went to Atlanta and it was just like it was just black. So it was my first time just seeing a city because I had been to like country towns and I'm like, oh my god, there's just only white people here. Like you don't really see like Hispanics or black people or anything. But then like Atlanta was the opposite. It was like the whole other spectrum. Like no, it's just mostly black, and there's a lot of Asian people too. But I
Mhm.
was just like, whoa, I never knew that there was like cities in the United States that were like predominantly like black. So I thought it
Mhm.
was pretty cool because like it's almost like a southern New York though. It's
Mhm.
it's still um it's to me I think it's the East Hollywood right now. Like
Yeah, I mean
you
that's what
know
they saying. Like Atlanta is like the new Hollywood.
yeah, so
So,
it's become the hub of like
mhm.
a lot of art and everything that goes down in the industry. And I think the fact that it is a black city and that it's become that hub is kind of like it shows you how much of like culture is influenced by
Mhm.
the black community in America. So that's what I liked about Atlanta. I would say I like that people hustle there like a lot. It's just horrible traffic, and if you got your car out there, you better be watching your car every minute because people be robbing cars all day in Atlanta.
You know
So
what? I just seen a video posted. I think it was by a comedian called Earthquake, and he posted literally it's like a bump and run, a bump. It's like something called like that. Yeah, I seen that on IG the other day. So
they
that's
do. They like it's a running joke that if you're in Atlanta, like don't put anything valuable in your car. Go check on your car constantly because people just be breaking into cars a lot. It's very populated. It's just it's a big city now. So
yeah. Well, it seems like you pretty much are understanding the demographics of a new city. And a lot of people go to Atlanta, a lot of artists go to Atlanta because of that music influence. And there's just so many opportunities of you bumping into just the right person or the right person hearing
exactly.
your music and that could help you. So pretty much just tell us how has that been as far as transitioning from South Florida where you're comfortable, that's your background, that's your backyard, to a whole new city.
So right now, I actually reside in Tallahassee mostly.
So you in Tallahassee. Okay.
Tallahassee. So like the closest major city is Orlando or Atlanta. So we do go to Atlanta a lot to do. And eventually I'm planning on moving back to like the Miami area just because I want to infiltrate, you know, all the landscape, not just like rap. You know, the Hispanic community does show me a lot of love down there as well. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go over there and find a lot of resources. It's also where I'm from, but you have to leave your hometown for a little bit
Sometimes.
before they really appreciate like what you're doing, and then you come back, and then it's like, oh, okay, now everybody, because I've been doing it independent, so I've never really had like major cosigns or anything like that. I'm not like I've never been with the fake shit. I've never been. I don't know if I can curse, but I'm
Yeah.
not with yeah, I'm not with all that fake stuff. I'm like very genuine. I'm still gonna be me, like, so like sometimes in those industries in those bigger markets, like the people, it's very like gatekeeping and all this stuff and all and in hip hop too and in anything. So but you keep working for yourself and before you know it, you see the people that were like now or like just not looking your way, start looking your way or start being like, this person is consistent. Maybe they're not what everybody or what I perceive them to be. They're actually genuine. They're really like passionate about this. So that's how I've been about music and rap. I've never really let it be like about do I want to be famous or any of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Jesus had 12 disciples.
He
He
shot.
only had 12 people behind him, but it only took those 12 to then go change the world, right? So
There you
you
go.
don't need to be like, you just need people that really genuinely mess with you and they like your message and whatever, and that's how you can get around. Like it's only a matter of time. So you
Right.
can, the shortcuts is usually the fastest way to get a big downfall. So
That's
I'm
true.
good on that.
That's true. And sometimes you got to hit the road to just make sure that you know your material and what you got going is really hidden, because of course your family, your loved ones are always going to come out and support you at like
Oh
artist
yes.
showcases or when you post your music on social media. Oh, that's fire. But
I
you
love it,
get a
mijo.
real honest test is to go outside.
Nah, definitely. So I'm gonna be honest. Like if I would have been told a long time ago that I was just trash at rapping or any of that, I would have definitely been like, okay, because I'm a very realistic person. I've always been very like self-conscious about stuff. So um like that was the first thing I did. That's why I always had the attitude. I came into it like I really admired the way like 90s hip hop seemed to me. I know a lot about the industry now, so I know everything isn't what it seems. But at the time, it seemed very genuine to me, and it seemed like people really had to go out there and like hustle it and do it on their own. There is some like Master P or people like that. They really had to, hustle it off the mud, and they did it themselves, and proved it to themselves. So that's where I get my motivation from. If you haven't noticed, I've named a lot of like I look up to those artists like the Master P's, the Jay Z's, the Cash Money, like that create their own thing, and they say, okay, like I'm not gonna go to the major institutions and ask them to fuck with me. I'm gonna do me, and then once they see we getting money, like, oh, okay, what y'all doing over there? That's how I look at it. Like, make them come to you. So, but I definitely would go around. Like I've toured the state of Florida, gone to different cities, with a group too, OxiGang, and like, and we've seen like, oh, okay, like we've done every type of concert you could be like from on the street to like big. Like I've done Rolling Loud and all that, and I've
Oh,
always
that's
done,
dope.
yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
I know them fairly well. They were probably the first people that gave me like a platform. It was, I don't know if you ever heard of the artist Currency. You probably
Oh
have.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Currency's dope. Like from Cash Money at a time, and he was doing a show in Miami, and it was the first time that I was able to do like a big set like that. And I just remember I met them, and they were like, "Here, go up." It's just like I went up right away. I didn't really have a time to prepare or anything, but like I improvised. I even like because my thing wasn't even right, and from that day, like the crowd like really liked what I did, and I met some
Oh,
people like in the radio station from there, and then like I just had different occurrences. Like I've had a lot of like 8 Mile Eminem moments,
that's what's
where
up.
like a lot of stuff, and it's come full circle because as I gotten bigger in the industry, people have been like, "Oh, you need to mess with this dude. You need to, fuck with these people. Like they do this, they do that." And I'm like, "Oh, like King of Diamonds. I did that when I was like 20 years old, and like I did it with a group of people, and I brought the biggest amount of people to the show. But this is like when I didn't know how any of this industry works, so I didn't know leverage or being like, hey, I'm bringing like a fan base out here, like pay me, like pay me, like I'm not doing this for free. I'm bringing people, like I'm actually bringing people. So like I brought like more people than anybody there, and then they left me till like 3 in the morning, and I killed it. And the owner of the place was like, "Oh my god, that was like amazing! I've never seen something like that. Like we didn't expect it out of you though, because
Right.
at the time I would just always get underestimated just because I wasn't like real, like whatever rap
Well, if you
looking.
stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So that's a prime
Yeah.
example.
So, but then when you hit the mic, that's when they're like, "Oh shit."
Mhm.
So
Yep.
been through a lot, and I've seen that a lot of people react well, especially to my live performances. That's what I really learned to like make my strong suit, like getting up there and really like rapping. Like, there's an artist right now, if I had to say somebody right now that's like trendy that I really like mess with is Trippy Red. I like
Okay. Yes.
he
Hmm.
has like a very alternative vibe, but one thing I will say is that his live performance is really great.
I've heard
He
that.
has, yeah, he has really great vocals, and he really like, he takes the time to, even Young Thug, like somebody like Young Thug, like really puts like the effort into like rapping live and not putting words behind the beat and doing it himself. And I appreciate that, and that's what I do. Like I'm really big on like actually somebody watching something and being like, oh shit, like this is good. Like
That's good.
this
You
is,
care. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Because some artists
some
don't care.
art.
Some artists will go
Yeah.
on stage drunk, high, can't even say the words to their own song. They just,
But it's be like,
I'm
bye.
here.
But I feel
You
like
like,
that's
"Mama,
not
I'm
fair.
here."
That's not fair to the fans who
It's
really want
not.
to see somebody rap and really want to see like, I know me as like a consumer of rap. I never wanted to go to a show and not see the person rap. Like
Right.
I was like, I listen to your music and all this. If I'm gonna come out here to watch you, I want you to do something. Like show me that you care about it, because
Yeah.
otherwise it doesn't feel the same. So um, that's why I say I look at the old school rappers a lot, because I felt like they really were big on the performance aspect. Like the
Well,
Tupacs and the Biggies and that. Like
oh yeah.
I would watch
Old
their
school is
videos all the
crazy.
time and be like,
Yeah,
Lil
salute to
Wayne too.
them. For real, for real. And don't ever lose that, you know, perspective as far as like when it comes time to perform for your
I
own.
won't lie. Sometimes I have gotten like pretty, drunk and tried to perform, and then I learned never to do that again.
There you
So
go.
A
There
lesson.
you go. As long
it
as you
happens.
learn,
It
there you
happens.
go.
You're human. Sometimes you're like, you know what? You get comfortable and you're like, I could do this, and then next thing you know, you're like, man, I can't remember the words and I don't care. Oh.
Oh man. But you know, you live and you'll learn, and it looks like you're growing as an artist. And last year was very successful for you, just looking at everything that you did, the numbers, and again, you're independent. And last year was a struggle for a lot of artists. Even people who are signed to big labels were struggling last year. And it looked like that was your breakout year. And so just kind of talk a little bit about that. And you released Alien to Love, which is the follow up to the 2017 Alien project. So just talk
Yeah.
about everything that's been going on with you.
So, the Alien to Love was more like I hadn't dropped anything since 2017, like a project wise. I had just did a lot of like touring, and I would, go perform, and I dropped like small singles and like little freestyles. Um, but I had that project done for a while. Um, I just kept holding it because I was like, I want to have the right money and I want to have the right like push and everything. I was always very big on like I don't just want to turn my stuff into like blind ears or deaf ears, but but the start of 2020, something just like happened with me, and I was like, you know what, Lena, I had been grinding and I started getting my own money, but I still was like, I shouldn't hold all this music. Like if I keep holding it, like it's just gonna like I don't even like the way I rap anymore. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't feel those emotions, but it's very personal to me, and I'm really writing it out of whatever I've gone through or what's inspired me at the moment. So it's like hard to still cling to it knowing that it's that old. Like, I'm developing as a rapper, I'm developing as a person. So it's hard for me to be like, this is what I want to sing now. So I was just like, I'm gonna just put it out. Like I'm gonna put it out. I'm not gonna think that hard about it anymore. I'm just start putting things out, work it as much as I can. And I'm gonna move to the next thing because I don't want people to think I rap like this anymore. Like, you know. And I wanted to play with like sounds and starting to go a little bit more like with what was mainstream, because with those two it's like aliens. So I was really trying to find myself. I was starting out. I'm trying to go for like my own sound. So I was doing beats that were like I thought were good, and I'm sure they are, but it was just like they're very different. They don't sound like what's the normal, like soundscape right now.
Mhm.
So, but then I was like, dang, like people their criticism, like the criticism that I would always face is that like, I like your music, I like you, and I like your message, like especially when they see me live, then they'd understand more of like what it was. But beforehand they'd be like, it just doesn't sound like something that I would listen to, like maybe because it was different and it was, a different sound. Like I said, once they see me live, then they'd be like, no, like I know the image behind the music, so it makes sense to me now. But
Right.
just hearing it off bat, it's kind of hard to like really get some because you're like, it's a very different sound and stuff. So I was like, man, like I'm holding myself back. Y'all don't even know. Like I could really rap over stuff. Like I could make music. Like, but I'm handicapping myself because I want to be different. Instead, now I'm gonna like I was, quarantine happened and I knew like what was relevant in terms of like beats, like all that like
Mm-hmm.
string shit that like Gunna and like Lil Baby and all them be using like all those melodies. So I was like, I know this producer that's pretty big. He had that record Lemonade. Their collective. They're called Internet Money. So
Yep.
yeah, so they're pretty big out here. So I knew one of them from when I first started before, when he first started making beats, and I just hit him up and I was like, hey, can you give me some beats? Like, cause I know right now you're not busy. Everything's shut down. So he was like, yo, yeah, I like your idea. I give him like an idea for it. And he was like, yeah, I like your idea. Grab whatever you want. We'll split it 50-50. He never hit me back up. Probably
Oh,
got busy or whatever. But
okay.
either way, he gave me the go. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just pick stuff out and I'm gonna make something. And I started getting creative and I was like, everybody's doing these COVID-19 albums about like being in quarantine and stuff or whatever. I was like, I don't want to be corny like that. I don't want to do it. And then Amy, my publicist, and my girl, so shout out to her, the queen. So she was like, hey, you should make some music. I was like, nah, you right. Everybody, what better time? And it just so happened like her sister was like staying with us. She was helping out with like some media stuff, and we just started getting creative. And like we were like, man, we're in quarantine. Let's just use the room for like a studio and take, let's do a photo shoot and make that the cover. So we just like made a photo shoot from that, and then
So,
it was just like all in the moment. Like it was just in the moment stuff. And I was like, yo, this is a good chance for me to start like maybe, experimenting with like the music and making something different that I feel like is more relevant, more like mainstream. So I use these beats and I made up a concept and I took like the quarantine stuff and I was like, I'm gonna relate it to what's going on with me right now this year, but like on the street sense and it has nothing to do with like quarantine really. I just try to make it more about like things that people might go through and using like the words to like be a metaphor. So I did that and it just like, we put it out and it ended up actually it just took off. It became like the best thing that I ever made the worst thing is that I didn't put as much into it thinking that it was just something that I was gonna put out
hmm.
because I had like, oh, so this like the Migo thing.
Yes, Migo. Yes.
This is I was gonna make my first trap tape because I just was gonna rap on some trap beats,
Okay.
right? So um I wanted to have like 15 features because my number 15 and all that, and it was all people that were like important in my life that that I've been through stuff with and that I could put on the songs, and I wanted to cater the song to the specific person and everything. So it's very detailed, and it was taking me a long time. When in the beginning of 2020, one of the members of one of the group that we had died
Oh,
in a tragic accident. So
oh wow.
like aside from COVID, it was just a dark year, and it was like, it was like dealing with, a lot of people mentally were not okay.
Yeah.
So it was, it was definitely different, but it inspired me to do something that I guess ended up becoming bigger than what bigger than what I thought at the moment, and that's what goes along with the part when I said like I just started dropping music because I was like, you know what, like if you hold on to it, you might never know. You have to just kind of start dropping this stuff and let it be out there. Um,
Mhm.
and like that's where we're at now. The same thing with Witness. I just made that song like on the spot when we went to LA, and I was like, let's see, and it's been doing really good. So now I've just been carrying that method of just going with the gut and doing whatever's in the moment.
That's what's up. And before we kind of bring it full circle and get back to your single witness, I wanted to ask because you definitely brought it up earlier about the OxiGang. And I heard that y'all consider yourselves the Wu Tang of South Florida.
Oh yes.
I need to know why. How are y'all the Wu-Tang of
See,
South Florida now?
yeah, no, I mean they're all over the place though. They're not just in South Florida. So it'd be Orlando,
Uh-huh.
Miami, Broward, Tallahassee. Even some of us are in Atlanta. So I would say like
Okay.
Wu-Tang of the South. It wouldn't even be. Um, it's just been it's been a long road like as a group, and it was like 10 plus of us. So if you know about like groups, it's kind of hard to like.
That's a lot of people. That's a
It's a
lot of
lot.
personalities, ego.
Yeah. And then once like, the member died last year, it
Yeah,
was
I'm
a
sorry.
big hit on us because we do have all this content and all this stuff that I made. Like I have a lot of stuff recorded and like that we filmed and just behind the scenes stuff and like cool things, but I've decided that we should hold it just because, ever since we lost the other member, it's kind of hard to like recreate even the chemistry or even being like, what it was at the time. Because at the time it was like 13 people all trying to like make something out of ourselves, and like we're working together and we're traveling around like the state of Florida and we're doing all these things. Like I don't think anybody had ever did that besides maybe like a Wu-Tang Clan. Like that's the only person, that's the only group that I knew was that big. And we all still mess with each other. I'm still close to all of them and everything, but I've taken more time to like, focus on like, you know, I would say like individually we have to like kind of get somewhere. So we have all that, and I just thought, one day when like the opportunity is there and we've gotten where we need to, I could, shine the light on like the one that died, especially. And then so long live Dizzy, Dark Side Dizzy, OZP, but him and the whole group. And I feel like it's just gonna be like this little like prequel type thing that when people want to know like how did this all come about, like when I'm talking about all these things about like, oh look, we used to perform in like the craziest scenarios, like, and we've seen that people react well to our stuff. So this will be like all of that. But in the meantime, we're trying to make it independently, individually, and then hopefully, when the world is ready, then we'll there's videos right now. You can still look us up. We got a whole EP out and everything, Squad of Wax, and it's only been a year. But like I said, out of respect for my boy whose birthday's coming up 5 days in about 5 days. So long live him. And I'm just, putting a pause on it and saving up all that content so that whenever, you know, the screen is there, then we'll put it all there for everybody to see.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, let's bring it full circle with Witness, and I also was seeing that you've been kind of popping on IG and TikTok. And how do you feel when you hear artists like Nicki Minaj? She kind of said it in her new song "Seeing Green." She had like a little line saying about how y'all keep making them songs for TikTok. Like, how do you feel about people in general that like now it's like I've been hearing people make those little snarky remarks about, oh, all y'all do is make TikTok songs, all y'all do is do this and challenges. How do you feel about when people say that?
I feel like it's better. Why not? Why not? Why would I, like the more the control is in the hands of the artist, the more I think it's favorable. A lot of these people, these artists, unfortunately had to go through the old school way of getting in the industry and had to like really do what they had to do to get in. You know, I I've been around enough to have heard or known about how hard it was to really get in back then. So with the new generation, I feel like it's so much easier and the control is in your hands and you have more of like the leverage. It's on you though, whether you want to build it or not.
Right.
And I feel like sometimes the older people, because of what they had to do to be able to get there, they just don't like that people can kind of shortcut it or not have to do that, or it's like, and rap is rap. Like I respect Nicki Minaj though. That's like one of my favorite artists as well. Like growing up, like I used to think she was like the hardest female rapper. So and still is to this day. So it's no disrespect to her or saying that she's like bitter or whatever, but it's just saying like, I mean, if you want to go bar for bar, yeah, you're not, I don't think TikTok is the way to go. Like, if you really want to come
Right.
on Nicki, but aside from that, like, you can't discredit anybody because you never know.
Mhm.
Everybody starts somewhere. At some point, everybody was on Dat Piff, putting up their
That's the
mixtapes
thing.
and
Like
shit.
it used to be the mixtape game.
Yeah, like,
You
so it's
know?
just a different evolution of things. Like, you never know where you could still find a really big artist out of TikTok. I remember I just told you that I really like Trippy Red, but when
Mhm.
I first heard of Trippy Red, it was through Instagram, and I thought he was kind of like a meme rapper, so I didn't even take him seriously. And now he's one of my favorite artists, like I think of
Right.
all time, like no cap. So
There you go.
you have to be able to say, okay, you can't just short sight yourself and say like these people are not, because it's just the new wave. Like if you're not gonna evolve, then that's fine. You don't have to, but then you're limiting yourself to getting a new wave of consumers and like a
Right.
fan base and everything. So
Yeah.
man, you could be making TikTok songs too though. Like some of them songs be sounding kind of TikTok too. So how many
I'm
right
not
now are
gonna
not
take what you
blowing up? Like
challenge for
everybody's
one,
like,
Nicki.
oh,
Like she did a
so
challenge for one of her songs a while ago before she got married and everything. I was like, "Oh, Nikki, oh God,
yeah.
I
So
hear you though, Queen. I hear you though." But I feel like for me, it's like there's a time and place for everything. Like there's a part of hip hop where people want to have fun, and and there's music for the club. There's music for the hip hop heads. There's music for people that want to hear struggle bars and getting out the mud bars, street. It's a lane for everybody. So for me
exactly.
personally, I love it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. So
It's more music, more music, more.
right.
How could you
We
complain
just need
about
to have
having more
fun.
music?
Everything. Why you gotta be so serious? Like we ain't gotta be serious all the time.
Exactly.
But so my final question for you, because again, you had a really big year last year, and now you see that 2021. You talked about doing rolling out. Well, I saw online that they're doing another festival. There's a lot of these festivals that are coming back this summer, and it looks
Mhm.
like outside is finally starting to open up. It looked like people are ready to get back on the road
Yes,
and do it.
son.
Yes. So you already saying that you ready to get back and get that bag. So what
You're
are you looking forward for the rest of 2021 leading into a whole new year where hopefully we can leave this pandemic behind us?
okay. So for 2021, right now, I definitely want to get back into the live atmosphere, like getting, in front of faces and performing. We've been doing a lot of press runs, so I have been doing a lot of this to kind of get my name more out there,
Mm-hmm.
on the mainstream. Um, I'm still taking it like, day by day. I don't want to, because like I said, I know some of these people. I know a lot of these industry, and but the industry still does favor, the major labels and the people that have already built connections. It is what it is. I'm not knocking it, but I'm just gonna keep grinding until, like I said, they turn over and then they start saying, hey, like, you know, we need you or we want you. I'm not gonna beg for no favors or nothing. I'd rather do it off myself and it feels more fulfilling that way when people are going after you. So in the meantime, I'm just focusing on putting more music out. I want to put, I haven't really released a project yet this year. Haven't even dropped a song. All
Mm-hmm.
of this is just stemming from like the hype of the last year's EP and the song.
Right.
So and the Witness song. So, I'm just building off that hype. It's getting bigger and I'm, pushing it hard. And
Yes.
then now we got the videos coming out. So there's gonna be a little bit more visuals. We got one of the social distancing videos coming out in June, and then July Witness should be coming out as well. So and I had a really big videographer do that. So we're just loading it up and getting ready, you know.
That's definitely dope. Well, I have no more questions, but if you want to say anything else, I always give my guests the last word. Whatever you want to say, this is your chance to plug it in.
More than anything, I would say Follow your dreams. Long live Mac Miller. Hey.
Okay,
But
that's
nah, for real, follow your dreams. Do whatever it is that you feel like you want to do, and don't let nobody keep you from doing it. Whether you think it's uncomfortable or nobody's done it yet or whatever, because that's really what I rap about: being, alienated, being different, but having a voice and saying like it doesn't matter if it's one, two, three people, because you never know that one person that you change their life
mhm.
could be a person that influences a million people. So in a way, you kind of influenced a million too. You never know. So it's not about the numbers. It's just about like, are you being true to yourself and go for whatever you feel makes you feel right. So
Amen. That's what's up, and we definitely gonna leave it on that positive note. So, King say, let
can I
everybody
get a witness?
witness, yes, and we're gonna keep on playing the song too because it's fire.
Yeah.
But for everybody that's listening and they want to tap in with you and follow you on social media and any other places you want your fans and everybody's listening to follow you, just plug that in real quick.
So you can follow me on IG at the Migo Bendito. Bendito, not bandito. So bendito, if you're Puerto Rican, bendito, like that. Or I think on TikTok, yeah, it's also the Migo Bendito. Snapchat is also like I do a lot of like more postings on there as well. So QuinceLu, QuinceLu, and stay tuned for more. This is CeCe on the air.
Yes, CC on air, and that is it when King say. And like I said, we're gonna keep on playing the witness and make sure you follow your boy. And that is it from us. So until next time, I'll catch
So
you.
when you in Miami, when you in South Florida, you know who to hit up.
Oh, already. Because I'm not going to the strip club. I haven't been to the strip club in Miami yet.
Oh, say less. We gonna
Well,
get
thank
you
you for
right.
your time, King say.
Yeah.